Now on Pittsburgh's Action News 4.
Breaking news right now, a 1-year-old boy shot and killed. Now the frantic search for the gunman.
The fight for fall sports. Student athletes rallying for their seasons. Tonight, the school districts that just gave the okay to play.
Plus, cracking down on bad behavior. The new penalties that could end a Pitt student semester if they violate COVID-19 safety rules.
Pittsburgh's Action News 4 starts right now.
That breaking news, a 1-year-old child shot in the head and killed. Police racing to Pittsburgh's Spring Hill City View neighborhood. Let's get straight out to Pittsburgh's Action News 4 reporter Brittany Hoke live tonight.
And Brittany, police say the gunman is on the run right now.
Well, Janelle and Mike, that's right. The police say that they have not made any arrests in this shooting right now. And as Janelle mentioned, that shooting happened in Pittsburgh's Spring Hill neighborhood. The baby was then rushed here to AGH, where he later died. Now, this happened at the Three Rivers apartment complex in the 100 block of Rhine Place around 6 p.m. Police say that shots were fired and one of those bullets went through a window and then 2 walls before hitting the 1-year-old little boy. When officers arrived, they say they found the child with a gunshot wound to the head. Now, they rushed the baby to the hospital. A police sergeant was driving while 2 officers tried to control the bleeding from the back seat. The child arrived at AGH in critical condition, but at about 8:41 p.m., police reported that that child had passed away at the hospital. Now, investigators say that it looks like that shot came from outside of the house. The investigation into this shooting continues tonight. Reporting live outside of AGH, Brittany Hoke, Pittsburgh's Action News 4.
Brittany, thank you. Also tonight, a man was shot multiple times in Mount Oliver, Allegheny County. A vehicle at the scene you see riddled with bullets. County police say the shooting happened in the 200 block of Anthony Street, but they say first responders found the victim on nearby Church Street. He was taken to the hospital in critical condition, we're told. Police are still investigating what led to that gunfire. And more breaking news right now. A pedestrian hit by a vehicle. This happened in the 4600 block of Ignite Road. Police say the victim is in critical condition right now. No other details have been released.
In our reopening schools coverage, the WTAE Board of Directors says schools must notify the league by September 1st if they do not want to participate in fall sports.
The Board of Directors met today. They say all districts will receive this notice tomorrow. Meantime, student athletes and parents rallying for their season in the Beaver Area School District. Before heading out to breaking news, Pittsburgh's Action News 4 reporter Brittany Hoke spoke with student athletes after the school board voted to move forward with fall sports.
A group of parents waited outside Beaver County High School Monday night, cheering when they got the approval from the school board they've been hoping for.
We're very excited. We're very happy that they listened to us and they considered our feelings and our opinions and voted the right way for the benefit of our students.
The district unanimously voting to move forward with fall sports. Many say they were nervous the decision would go in the opposite direction, so parents and students lined the street, rallying as school board members drove in.
I'm just here to have a voice, and we're just trying to hear as a community, just make sure that we have sports.
But the board also says athletes and parents will have to sign a liability waiver that should be done by the end of the week.
That would also be another layer that would allow students to play and would help protect the district in the case of something catastrophic.
Parents I spoke with tonight say they don't mind signing the waiver. They also hope they'll be able to watch the games from the stands.
I have 2 healthy young teenage boys. I want them to play. And I am thrilled that the school board voted with us. I really am. It's exciting. So now we got to get spectators in.
Brittany Hoke reporting, Pittsburgh's Action News 4.
Now let's go up north. A rally to play also held ahead of the Pine Richland School District vote. The board there approving the district's athletic safety plan. It has 3 phases for all high school and middle school athletes. The first one, summer conditioning, has concluded, but starting today, phase 2 will be tryouts and practices. Competition in all sports will start over the next 2 weeks, with football kicking off first on September 11th.
Keeping students in the game, also one of the many topics discussed tonight at a virtual meeting at the Pittsburgh Public Schools. Board members reading questions from stakeholders offering their thoughts on the challenges of this new school year, including special education teacher and football coach Don Schmidt, who says sports gives kids a positive outlet to help build their futures.
The danger of COVID-19 pandemic are very real. I live with the level of fear every day that my players, assistant coaches, or I become infected. But this keeps us all diligent in following CDC guidelines that help ensure safety. I also recognize the dangers of kids not having anything positive to be part of, and that can be just as dangerous.
Like many other supporters, Coach Schmidt said that it would be devastating to have the city schools cancel fall sports while neighboring school districts allow their students to play. The district hearing continues tomorrow.
Now to Commitment 2020 coverage tonight. The Republican National Convention is now underway, 1 week after the Democrats hosted their big event.
Earlier today in Charlotte, North Carolina, President Donald Trump was officially nominated by the Republican Party for a second term. And tonight, Western Pennsylvania native and congressional candidate Sean Parnell helped kick off the night.
In the face of death, I saw ordinary Americans become heroes. In our darkest hour, when our survival depended on each other, my men and I learned an important lesson. We all bleed red.
A passionate speech tonight about lessons learned during military service from U.S. congressional candidate Sean Parnell. The Afghanistan veteran is running against Representative Connor Lamb in Pennsylvania's 17th District. ABC's Andrew Dimbert takes a closer look now at day one of the RNC.
President Donald Trump formally renominated Monday to top the Republican ticket in 2020 on the first day of the Republican National Convention. The GOP opening their scaled-back convention with ramped-up attacks on Democrats. In a surprise speech to kick off the convention, Trump laying in on his opponents.
They are trying to steal the election, just like they did it last time with spying, and we caught them, and that included President Obama. And that included, let's be nice, Biden.
Convention officials say the week will underscore optimism within the Republican Party with the theme honoring the great American story.
This is our story. We journey together.
Other speakers for opening night include party staples like Senator Tim Scott and former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley.
This president has a record of strength and success. The former vice president has a record of weakness and failure.
There's also outspoken conservative Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz, the president's son Donald Trump Jr., and even Mark and Patricia McCloskey, the St. Louis couple who pointed guns at Black Lives Matter protesters near their home. The Republicans' big week follows the Democratic convention last week. The RNC different in not just party, but presentation. The GOP hosting a mix of in-person and digital events across North Carolina and Washington, D.C., with some 300 delegates gathering in Charlotte. As the coronavirus reshapes the 2020 election, President Trump taking the party's primetime programming to separate himself from Joe Biden, who has rarely left his home state of Delaware since the pandemic hit.
This base doesn't like Joe Biden. They don't like Joe Biden. I think we're going to get a lot of votes.
And President Trump will officially accept his party's nomination for the White House from the White House on Thursday. But the president is also expected to be a part of this convention every night moving forward. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, Washington.
This video just into our newsroom of the breaking news we told you about at the top of the newscast here. A pedestrian struck by a vehicle in the 4600 block of McKnight Road. Police said that victim is in critical condition. No other details have been released, but stay with us for updated developments. Now to Wisconsin. Cars set on fire for a second night in Kenosha. This as a curfew is in effect and National Guard members are now on the ground.
Protests erupting in the city after the police shooting of Jacob Blake. Blake, a black man, is now in the hospital in the ICU.
Earlier today, clashes with police outside the Kenosha County Courthouse. Look at this here. Police opened the door to pepper spray a crowd outside the building, and investigators say officers were responding to a call about a domestic dispute on Sunday, and cell phone video shows Jacob Blake walking from the sidewalk around the front of his SUV to the driver's side door. As officers follow him with their guns pointed, they shout at him, and Blake opens the door and leans into the SUV. An officer grabs his shirt from behind, opens fire in front of Blake's 3 children who were sitting in the vehicle. Police did not say whether Blake was armed or why police opened fire. Pittsburgh's breaking news team is following this developing situation, and we will bring you the latest.
Pittsburgh's action weather now, and storms will be rolling through the region tomorrow.
Chief Meteorologist Mike Harvey is here to track an impact day. Mike.
That's right. Tomorrow going to be hot and humid. We'll have more on what you can expect as we head through the week coming up in just a few minutes.
All right. Thanks, Mike. All new on 4 tonight, alligators taken from an enclosure.
The search tonight for these stolen reptiles.
Plus, a popular strip district bar ordered to shut down. The COVID violations, the health department says, forced them to close their doors.
And Pittsburgh's breaking news team continues to follow this developing story. A 1-year-old boy shot and killed in Pittsburgh's Spring Hill City View neighborhood. Police say a gunman was standing outside of a housing complex unit when they fired into the home, striking the child. No arrests have been made. Back now to our breaking news. A 1-year-old boy has died after being shot at a housing complex in Pittsburgh's Spring Hill City View neighborhood. The shooting happening along Rhine Place. Police say the child was shot in his head. Officers rushed him to the hospital where he later died. No arrests have been made at this hour.
The University of Pittsburgh is placing more sanctions on organizations and several students related to the reported violations of COVID-19 safety rules. University leaders say students were gathering in large groups, not wearing face coverings, or both, on campus and off campus. Pitt Dean Kenyon Bonner says the no-nonsense approach is all about safety.
There are students who have been identified, have been placed on interim sanctions, and will have a conduct hearing to determine whether or not they continue with us this semester.
Some students tell Pittsburgh's Action News 4 they agree with the approach the school is taking.
I think it's appropriate. I mean, like, if there's no consequences really, if no one's following the rules and regulations, and then everyone gets sent home or like school shuts down again, like, that's not fair. And I think we've seen a lot of schools where there's been problems with that.
Health officials say they're also doing random systematic surveillance of students.
Lefties in the Strip has been closed by the Allegheny County Health Department for violating several COVID-19 safety rules. According to an inspection this month from the county's COVID-19 field response team, the restaurant violated 4 of the 7 criteria, including the occupancy limit. Tables were not 6 feet apart. Drinks were being served with no food in sight, and people were getting service by walking up to the bar. Allegheny County cases are nearing 10,000 now. Today, the County Health Department reported 29 new cases. The total now, 9,932. There were no additional deaths. The new cases come from nearly 700 tests performed between August 17th and the 23rd. That's a positivity rate of 4.2%.
Single-digit increases in Beaver, Washington, and Westmoreland counties. Butler County actually had 1 fewer case today. We've reached out to the state to learn why that was. Lawrence County reporting no new cases and small increases today in both Armstrong and Fayette counties. Well, we have some good news for school districts in Fayette County. The state releasing new transmission rates today, and Fayette County has been moved back to the moderate category. Last week, Fayette County was one of just 2 in the state showing a substantial rate of community spread. Officials believe that's due to an outbreak at the Fayette County prison.
Meantime, the state health department added 426 new confirmed cases of COVID-19, bringing that total to 129,474. The number of deaths statewide increasing by 1. Pennsylvania will receive a lost wages grant from FEMA to help pay for a new round of $300 in weekly unemployment benefits. This comes after President Donald Trump made up to the $44 billion available from FEMA's Disaster Relief Fund to provide financial assistance to anyone unemployed due to the pandemic.
Police in Upper St. Clair are investigating a murder-suicide tonight. Police say a 67-year-old man called 911 claiming he killed his 54-year-old estranged wife and planned to kill himself. SWAT teams were called to this home along Thousand Oak Drive. When the SWAT team members were able to finally go inside the home, they say they found the man and woman dead. Now, this couple has not been identified, this estranged couple. Police have not released details about a motive. A man surrenders to police after a 2-hour SWAT situation in Pittsburgh's Brookline neighborhood. The scene unfolding here along the 800 block of Norwich Avenue. When officers got on the scene, they say a woman told them a man was inside a home and possibly armed with a gun. Police say they managed to talk to the man and talk to him into surrendering. Charges are now pending.
New tonight, good news in the search for stolen alligators in Indiana County. Earlier today, we received a message from Pierce's Pet Place. The animals might have been found. State police say these male and female alligators were stolen from an outdoor enclosure at the White Township Pet Store. They say it happened overnight between August 8th and 9th. Police say they are worth $2,000 together. Giant Eagle is hiring in the Pittsburgh area. The company looking to fill more than 1,300 permanent, full-time, and part-time jobs. Interested candidates are encouraged to visit jobs.gianteagle.com. That website address is on your screen right now. There you can find the open positions by role and location, and you can submit your application.
Tracking the tropics now, a double threat for the Louisiana-Texas shoreline. First, a weakening Marco, and now a stronger Laura. Officials say Tropical Storm Laura will gather hurricane strength before hitting the Gulf shores, with New Orleans in its path. Authorities are telling residents it is safer to shelter at a friend's home instead of a large facility.
Congregant shelters will remain a last resort for anyone who needs to evacuate.
The storm has already slammed the Caribbean in Haiti and the Dominican Republic, leaving at least 8 people dead.
And our chief meteorologist, Mike Harvey, is tracking the storms in the Gulf.
And Mike, the warm waters of the Gulf will likely fuel Laura.
Definitely going to take it from a tropical storm and take it. We'll be in the 80s. Right now, we're looking at Saturday for more rain showers and storms to move in, but we have Sunday dry and cooling off. If it stays like this, it'll be pretty comfortable with a high temperature of 78 degrees.
2 tropical storms aimed at America's Gulf Coast would have sent both oil and gas prices soaring in years past. But as we're learning, 2020 is a year like no other. Average gas prices at the pump are only up 1 cent from a week ago, standing at $2.19 for a gallon of regular nationwide. That's according to AAA here. A record U.S. oil production, combined with a sharp drop in demand for fuel during the COVID-19 pandemic, has resulted in a record excess supply. Experts say in terms of crude oil, the U.S. has never been in better shape.
Pittsburgh's Action Sports with how the bubble might be back in the Penguins' game plan for next season. And last season in Pittsburgh, he caught passes from his college teammates. How the Steeler plans to strengthen his connection with number 7.